All right, guys, so Dan Bongino and Hawk Newsome, the founder of Black Lives Matter New York, got into a very testy exchange a few days ago about Hawk Newsome's comments during a meeting with New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams regarding the anti-crime unit, right? Which Eric Adams is basically thinking about bringing back. Now, in response to Eric Adams wanted to bring that back, Hawk Newsome is upset, and he's making threats, right? He's making threats of violence and bloodshed if, in fact, this unit is brought back. Now, these comments were controversial, right? And they're comments that the mainstream liberal media should be covering, right? We should be hearing about this 24/7, right? We have somebody openly calling for bloodshed and violence if they don't get a policy that they want. And they're silent, but yet they claim they care about political violence so much, but not when it comes to certain groups of people. So Dan Bongino is actually going to be doing the job that the rest of the media should be doing, and pressing this guy on his calls for violence. And I want you guys to watch this exchange between the two because I found it to be quite fascinating. Take a listen.
So you don't want rioting,
prep,
just to be
test
clear.
prep. And there's just one other part to this. We could take people from housing projects who are caught up in the public assistance system, and we can give these people
don't want
job
riots,
skills.
right? You don't want riots, correct? And violence. I just want to get you on the record here.
Let me explain something to you.
Hawk.
Let me explain something.
I just want to get you on the record. You don't want violence or bloodshed.
I'm going on the record right now.
I'm
going on the record right now.
Okay.
As Dr. King said, riots are the voice of the unheard. It's a natural occurrence that if people continue to be traumatized and oppressed, they will lash out. That's it.
Do you condemn violence or not? But they shouldn't lash out, correct?
Dan, what I'm telling you is, right? What I'm telling you is the Boston Tea Party was a riot. It was because people were fed up. So they took to the streets.
I'm not asking about the Boston Tea Party, Hawk.
No, but what you're talking to me about is,
do you condemn
and
violence
it's amazing
or not?
that this is Veterans Day, and the first man to die in the fight for this country was a black man named Chris
why can't
Massatic.
you just condemn violence? How does this help?
Why would I condemn violence? Why would I do that? I believe in self-defense. I believe that if someone
No one's talking about self-defense. All right, let me make it simple. Forget this is clearly a little bit over the head here. Do you condemn rioting and burning down buildings?
Whose head?
You're not answering the question. Do you condemn riots and burning down buildings after a police use of force incident you don't like?
No, what I'll say is I understand when a police officer unjustifiably kills someone, why people lash out. I understand that completely.
I didn't ask. Why can't you answer the question?
I'm not going to condemn.
You can't answer the
nor
question.
am I going to condone it. Now, see, here's the thing.
Isn't that cowardly?
When Osama bin Laden and those terrorists attacked the United States of America. Can you let me talk?
Man.
You have a show, you talk as much as you want.
You seem to talk a lot of junk, and then when I put you on the spot, you won't answer a damn question. Do you condone violence?
I'm answering the question.
Or do you condemn violence?
Answering the question.
All over the place. Just condemn violence and burning of buildings down. How hard is this?
Okay. So when Osama bin Laden attacked the World Trade Center, did you say America should deal with it peacefully?
You're not answering the question, man.
I'm posing questions to you.
That has nothing to do
with
with people burning down businesses in New York City. You're not going to answer the question, Hawk, but listen.
Wait, okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you this. I don't condone it. I don't promote it, but I will not condemn it.
Yeah, that's just cowardly, man. That's just cowardly.
No, you're a
stand
coward.
For something.
You know what? You see, you're trying to bait me. God bless you, man. I'm out of here.
Nope.
God bless.
Yeah. You are out of here. You're right.
All right, yeah. So that was an interesting exchange between those two, right? And I respect Bongino for bringing him on and asking him that question about whether or not he condemns violence, because we should know whether or not you condemn violence, right? When you're openly calling for violence and bloodshed, that's a big deal. Right, and you should be questioned on those things. However, this leader here of Black Lives Matter in New York basically didn't answer the question, right? Because he actually does condone violence, right? That's what he wants. He actually wants violence. That's why he didn't answer the question, because if you don't want violence and bloodshed, you say, no, I don't want violence and bloodshed, and I condemn violence and bloodshed. But I do want to make this a more nuanced conversation, because it's not that black and white. Right? Because I do understand what the BLM founder is trying to say. What he's trying to say is that, well, we're acting in self-defense, right? That's what he's trying to say. It's in self-defense, so therefore I'm not necessarily condemning it. But it sounds like he thinks it's justified because he's acting in self-defense. That's why he's trying to come up with all these other examples like the Boston Tea Party and the 9/11 to try to compare what's happening or what he thinks is happening in the black community, specifically in regards to police, because this is what it's about, to those situations. And I think those comparisons are rather silly, right? Because black America is not under attack by the police in this country, no matter how much the left-wing liberal media and academia want you to think that black people are under attack in this country by police. It's just simply not true, right? I've been black all my life, and I can tell you for a fact, it's not true. Because if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're not out here committing crimes, you're not out here selling drugs, right? You're not out here putting yourself in bad situations to interact with the police. There's almost basically a 0% chance that you will be shot and killed or attacked by the police for any reason, right? The people that are arguably under attack by the police in this country, if you even want to use that phrase, are thugs and criminals, right? The people that are committing crimes, right? The people that are putting themselves in situations where the police have to come after them, right? That they have to interact with the police. Those are the people that deal with this stuff, okay? Those are the people that deal with this stuff. Now, that's not to say there are no individual cases of police officers, right, who behave in ways that are unacceptable based off race, okay? It's not to say that doesn't happen. However, individual acts of racism is not the same as a whole group of people being under attack, right? It's not the same thing. Now I get it. There are deeper conversations out there about the laws and, you know, specifically when it comes to the drug war that, you know, allow for those police interactions in the first place, right? Going after people for petty amounts of drugs and stuff like that. Listen, I 100% get that, right? I am against the drug war, right? I think that it's silly for the state to tell people what they can and can't put in their bodies, right? Just like when it comes to the vaccine, I feel the same way about that when it comes to drugs, for the most part. So I'm right there with you on that, okay? However, that is not an attack on you as much as that's just the law, right? And if you want that law to be changed, there are peaceful ways to go about protesting that stuff, which I thought if that's what BLM would have did all last year and said, hey, we want to protest the drug war, right? Hey, I think that would have been more useful for reducing the interactions with police in the first place, right? Which would have reduced the amount of people being shot and killed by police, which is what they claim they're protesting about. But regardless, what I'm saying is that black people are not under attack by police in this country, right? So you're not acting in self-defense. It is not self-defense when George Floyd is killed by a police officer and then the whole country riots, right? That is just people taking advantage of a situation to loot and riot and steal. That is actually what that is. Okay, it's not self-defense. It's not self-defense. Now, in reference to this situation right here in New York, what really gets me is the fact that Hawk Newsome acts like he's speaking for the community. And I'm like, I don't necessarily believe that because I've showed you guys news clips, particularly in the first video I did on this when he originally said this, that showed that the community was like, no, we want the anti-crime unit to come back, right? We just don't want stop and frisk anymore. And Eric Adams agreed with that. He was like, yeah, we want the anti-crime unit to come back, but we're not bringing back stop and frisk, right? Which, again, relates to what I was just saying about the drug war, right? Certain policies in place that make it easier for you to interact with police. Yeah, we should get rid of those things so that police are not interacting with people based off petty things, right? And that's what he's doing. But yet this guy is calling for bloodshed and violence just for bringing back the unit, even though they're not bringing back the most controversial part of it, right? Even though the community itself that's been affected by this, the same community that he claimed he represents, is saying, no, we want this. We want a tougher police presence. But these are the people that black folks let speak for them and say, oh, no, this is our leader, right? This guy knows what's best for us. The guy that's openly calling for violence and bloodshed to get a policy that black people don't even want, which is less police, right? They don't want that. They want more police. Now, I also get the idea of, okay, well, we need to invest more in education. You know, we need to help people get off the streets by educating them, and that will help reduce crime, right? Reducing poverty will help reduce crime. I agree with that. But before you can do that, right, before you can bring any economic opportunity to any area, you have to get the thugs and the criminals off the streets, right? You have to make sure it's safe to operate a business in a certain area, okay, for businesses to thrive and want to move there. That's the piece of the puzzle that these people are missing, right? All these defunded police people want to put the cart before the horse, right? They want to take police out of the communities that are terrorized by thugs and criminals, like St. Louis, right, which is one of the most deadly cities in this country, right? Cori Bush represents a district in that city. She wants to take the police out of there first before solving the crime, and thinks that when the police leave, all of a sudden the crime is going to get better. Okay, that's the logic that these people are using. When it's like, no, I do agree with you. If we reduce poverty and we allow for more economic opportunity in those communities, people will stop committing as much crime, right? Violence will go down, right? Crime won't be as much of a problem. However, in order to get there first, we need a stronger police presence to make sure that these areas are safe to operate businesses in, right? No business is going to want to operate business in the area where they feel like their building can get looted, right? Burnt down. They're constantly dealing with getting robbed. It's not safe. Nobody wants to do that. So again, these people, they're just simply misguided. They're misguided by their Marxist ideology and this idea that black people are under attack by police in this country, which is simply not true. And this is why this is dangerous rhetoric. When people go out there and they say that black people are actually under attack by police, that is dangerous rhetoric that leads to violence and protests, and we've seen that. That is an actual fact, right? That is a fact. We've seen it. And again, it blows my mind how the mainstream liberal media ignores this type of stuff. They ignore these types of calls to violence, but then they want to pretend like, well, all the political violence in this country is just coming from people on the right. It's just Trump. I've never heard Trump say anything like this. I've never heard him make calls to violence like this. I've never heard it. This is a direct call to violence that this man is making. He said we want violence and bloodshed in the streets if we don't get a policy that I want, right? It's not even the policy that the actual community that he claims he represents wants. It's just about him, and what he wants. But again, there's no condemnation coming from the mainstream media. They're not talking about this. They're not talking about, is this guy an insurrectionist, right? Is this guy potentially a domestic terror threat? The same way they were talking about parents being a domestic terror threat. But they have nothing to say about this guy when he is making direct calls to violence. But shout out to Dan Bongino for having him on and pressing him on this, because I think that's important, right? These are actual real important issues that we need answers for when this guy goes out here and makes these types of calls to violence that are going to get people killed, innocent people killed, the same way a lot of innocent people got killed last year during the so-called race riot. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.